G'day there, welcome back to the Race Side. Today I'm going to take you through my 5 most favorite moments of Star Wars content this year. These aren't necessarily like the most happiest moments. I mean, you'll find out why they're not so happy, but they're definitely the most impactful, important, and just well done moments in Star Wars shows this year. So let's get into it. So my number 5 moment, this might be shocking that this is number 5, being such a Clone Wars fan, was just the whole episode of the Clone Wars flashbacks in Ahsoka. These were really well done. I think it was really cool to see them in this, not such a intensely visual way, but it was this lesson, this memory that Ahsoka was having, these flashbacks, force-fueled, however you want to describe them, but these moments in time of young Ahsoka and Clone Wars Anakin being together. I mean, specifically Hayden being Anakin in Clone Wars era was just fantastic to see, and young Ahsoka interacting with that and exploring that was really amazing. To see Clone Wars era of those specific characters in live action was just bucket list check, let's go. Oh my god, amazing. Moment number 4, I have the finale of The Bad Batch where Tech falls to his death. Is he dead? I don't know. That debate's still going on, but this moment was incredibly impactful and just incredibly shocking, mouth wide open, wow kind of moment. I definitely had a weird feeling with Tech the whole season. I think a lot of you called it and felt that too. They were just setting him up so well. I mean, his character development in this season was really, really good, but it felt too good because it felt like he might be not with us by the end of it. So I think they built it up very well, but the moment that he had the fall and he says that line, a good soldier never follows orders, it was just so climactic. It's all in the build-up. They did that just so well to make that moment so impactful and incredible. Just such a really stuck with me, that moment, and I think most of the fandom after that episode for that following weeks after that was just so wowed by that, and even now it's like, damn, Tech's gone. Really? So definitely that is my number 4. Number 3, we have this is all subjective, but I absolutely loved Grand Admiral Thrawn's entrance. My goodness, I have been so keen. Ever since I knew that it was Lars Mikkelsen coming back as Thrawn for live action, I have been so keen to see him on screen. Again, really good build up here. We didn't see him for a few episodes of the season, and then the music swell, even just like the Chimera, they have some really epic shots of like that coming over Peridia, and the hangar, the stormtroopers, everything really built up the intensity of this moment. And to see him walking down that corridor in that hangar wasn't even a corridor, it was a corridor of stormtroopers. But to see him walking down there with the music in the background and all the stormtroopers are chanting Thrawn, damn, what a moment. Really loved that. I thought it was so epic. Such a highlight for me this year of content. Coming in at number 2, again, less of kind of a specific moment. It is the Cody and Crosshair episode of season 2 of Bad Batch. This episode, I think, was very much talked about, rightfully so. I think it was a very moving episode. Again, we found out last year at Celebration 2022 Anaheim that Cody was going to be in season 2 of The Bad Batch. From that moment, insane. Super excited to see him in it. And this episode was written and done so well. Again, it's got that magnifying glass on the clone experience, and especially the clone experience into the Empire's reign and how they're going. Crosshair's a really fascinating character. His psyche was so interesting to kind of study through this season of season 2 of Bad Batch. But adding Cody's character into the mix, he was again, just have a really interesting and just a really propelling story for the audience, I found. It was just kind of like a random mission episode, but it's more the dialogue and the emotions shared between these two characters, which I just took so much away from. But if I had to pin like a specific moment as well in this episode as a whole, really, was the final few minutes of the episode where it's all music. There's no dialogue, and you see Cody processing some things of this mission they went on. And it's just this really deep, booming music in the background. It's just exchange glances and looks, and Cody's seeing that the Empire's taking over, and what he thought was the Republic, what he thought was good, is no longer there. Yeah, specifically the ending of this episode was just so incredible to me. I think they did this to a T perfectly. Now, my number 1 pick is, I think, would probably be very obvious, and maybe a lot of you have this opinion as well, but it has to be Anakin showing up in the Ahsoka show. And especially, just there's so many elements here because it's the fact that Hayden's back and he's back in Star Wars as Anakin, as this also like just prime prequel era Anakin is just so amazing. Episode 5 was kind of the Anakin focused episode of Ahsoka, but his arrival in the end of episode 4 for Ahsoka I found was just so amazing. I was so prepared at the end of the episode that we weren't seeing him, and it would be another episode that he would show up, hopefully. So the reveal of him at the end of episode 4 was just so perfect. To have that moment with Ahsoka that we realize where she went, that she's in War Between Worlds, to have the moment where she stands, takes a breath, the music's quiet, there's that ambient sound happening. We're all trying to figure out where she is, and to hear the words "Hey Snips," I think was something childhood me has waited many, many years for. So it was practically impossible that this wasn't going to be my number one moment, because the "Hey Snips" is just more than a decade worth of waiting for that moment. Make sure you drop your 5 favorite moments of Star Wars content this year in the comments below. Subscribe for more Star Wars community and entertainment. I'll catch you next time. My name is Hannah, and always choose the race side.